Hello, everybody, and welcome to the SC2L. I am Jeff In Control Robinson from Team Evil Geniuses, and I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in, guys. It's been a long time coming. I've been teasing this. I've been talking about it, and in typical esports fashion, good things do take time to come out, but we are here, and from this point forward, it should be some great broadcasts for you guys. Great matches. We're all really excited, but we're not doing it alone. Tonight, we have perhaps the greatest man in the entire esports world. I call him a friend. He is Sean Day9 Plot. Sean, how the hell are you, friend?
I'm amazing. I didn't realize that I'd been promoted to #1 person in esports global without any other qualifiers to it. So this is not only a good day for me, but also a good day for the scene. I mean, like you were talking about, SC2L kicks off. It is an enormous team league for the West. I mean, you know, we have the Pro League, we have the GSTL, we have the regular Pro League that EGTL's playing in, but now, you know, SC2L just coming out, beginning the steps into sort of forming that team league, but it's the same format that everyone's familiar with, the best of 7, with that last match being the ace match.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of a twist in there, too. It's been kind of cool, actually. There's some other good team leagues out there as well, the ATC from Germany. And I think they might be the first ones to introduce this rule, which I kind of like, actually. It's that you can have one player play twice in the regular series. So if you have that powerhouse guy, he can actually carry you a little bit. But there is a catch. If you use that player twice in your regular matches, they then cannot be used in the ace match. So the reason I like this is it creates a little bit of strategy, or more strategy, for the managers who can say, okay, we've got a couple really good players, but which one of these guys do I want to be guaranteed to play in there? But if it comes down to the clutch, who do I rely on? So it really, for me, it emphasizes team depth to a certain extent, but it also gives some weight and strength to the management of an organization, which I think is really important.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, especially means that, you know, these teams that are smaller, that have a lot of international players, that might not be able to coordinate everyone to be in one place all at once. No problem. Point. It's all taken care of. I mean, like Acer Axiom, a team that doesn't have, like, you know, a lot of players, as many as, you know, some of the other notable lineups that we see in the league. So easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
You're absolutely right, my friend. So speaking of matchup tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special treat for you. It's going to be Team Root, which recently relocated to San Francisco, going up against Team Liquid for our Day 1, Match 1, Week 1 first match. It should be an absolute slugfest. It's going to be great. Sean, what from this series kind of leaps out at you? Who are you most excited to see play?
I mean, I'm always pumped to see Sage play. I love watching Sage. I watch Sage's stream all the time. Also, Yu-Gi-Oh! Going up against Teja. It's really the last 2 matches. Sage versus TLO, Yu-Gi-Oh! Versus Teja. I mean, the players are psycho good, and, I mean, TLO is just psycho.
Yeah, he's just psycho, like, yeah.
His play is insane, right? So, I mean, I'm really excited for this. But, I mean, also, especially with Root Gaming, I mean, like you were talking about, got their house set up. All those players have been streaming so much. All those players have been dedicating so much. Team Liquid, notorious for their dedication, now going up against a team that I think is really, every single month, there's a new update from Root about how much more seriously they're taking the game. So I'm pumped to see them really sort of come together again.
Yes, I am as well. I think my vote would have to go for Kane Hero, not just because Hero is one of my favorite players across the board, but because I really think Kane is one of those up-and-coming North American players that people can actually get excited about. You've been talking about the team house. I really hope that's the spark we need to see, like the rebirth of an Idra. You know, you remember the young, angry Idra out there that was actually taking tournaments for North America? I actually see that level of talent in Kane. He used to have the manner of Idra as well, but he's actually under the tutelage of Cats. He started to balance it out. He's become a little bit more of a manner bear.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I like what your comment was about, like, you know, getting a little tutelage from Cats there, because, you know, Cats has a really strong influence over every single Zerg player on Root. Cats plays crazy. He's actually he's the only Zerg player I will say is consistently more crazy than TLO.
Yeah, actually,
in all
yes.
those games.
That is actually true.
Yeah, like Hatch's in main base. I think the infamous Hatch at the opponent's natural, but has now taken Korea by storm. So Kane has a nice mix of the weird strategies, but again, backing it up with that stability that lets him get really high up on the ladder.
I have to agree, friend. So before we get into the match, real quick, this is tonight's matchup. But, of course, we are looking to broadcast as many times as 4 a week. This is going to be a regular thing that you guys can count on. We announced today, so there's all kinds of information out there. So if you're just tuning in now and you're like, whoa, I want to know more about this, There's a lot of stuff to read out there, including our website, so make sure you do take a look. But one of the things we want to introduce before we get underway with the games itself is that this is the SC2L brought to you by D-Link, and D-Link is doing a very special thing where they're, of course, helping us out big time with the prize pool, but they're offering a deal where if you do purchase one of their gaming routers, $10 from that purchase will go towards the actual prize pool itself, allowing for, we could actually double the prize pool. It could go up to $20,000, so that's pretty damn cool. And again, I've been reading all the comments, a lot of people talking about this. It's an awesome deal. Big shout out to D-Link. If it's not your bag, don't worry. You can also support us just by watching, participating, and consuming the content. Of course, we do offer free VODs after each broadcast as well. So do check that out. I believe that's on our YouTube. Can I get a thumbs up from my producer?
Yeah. SC2L.GG.
Yeah, he throws his arms up. That's like 5 thumbs or something like that. Okay, we're going to count it. The content will be out there.
SC2L.GG, yeah.
Yeah, oh, okay. Sean's ahead of me, actually. Sean, the techie guy. Okay, well, I'm going to start this game off.
I love it.
And we're going to be underway. So, also, do keep in mind, in that promo video you guys saw at the beginning, there are other teams in this league. We will be talking about them every single night. If you are excited about that, do check out Team Liquid as well, where we'll be posting the matchup threads hours before each broadcast. And I do believe somebody will take control of kind of like a live report function as well. And we're underway, Sean.
Yeah, game number 1 kicking off. Now, to note, because these games are very fortunately casted from replays, it means that the delay between games will be virtually 0. It will only be about a 2-minute break, back-to-back matches until we're through this bad boy. So spawning up on the top left from Team Root. He might be a lesser-known player if you've only watched a lot of the majors, but if you've ever been on the ladder, he's probably beaten the crap out of you. It's Masa.
Go, Masha!
Oh, Masa is the greatest ever!
And his opponent coming off a fresh second-place finish at Home Story Cup. It is the Norwegian Zerg, Team Liquid's Snoot. Or Luke Skywalker, as some people do know him.
I mean,
he's a handsome devil.
Yeah, I mean, Snoot, honestly, he's one of those players that, you know, panning around in the Korean audiences in the Pro League, you know, pretty much everyone in Korea has black hair or there's that light red dye. And then there is Snoot with this, like, beautiful golden locks. Like, I honestly think that one of his ancestors could have been Rapunzel. I mean, it's so gorgeous. Yeah. And these deep, rich blue eyes. And he looks up at the camera and he gives that little smirk. And, like, a dimple forms that, like, could suck in the universe. It's like a black hole of adorableness. He is just... He's a strong player as well.
He's a slayer of hearts, and he's actually pretty good at the game of StarCraft as well. You do bring that up. So let's talk a little bit about both these guys' styles, because both these players, I would say Snoot obviously has grabbed the attention of the public much more strongly and recently. He's definitely getting a lot of fame right now. Moss, of course, being a little bit beneath the radar. But first with Snoot. Snoot, for me, very multitask-oriented, very aggressive. He's not a TLO in the sense that he'll do crazy off-the-wall things, but I do see that he does do some kind of, I don't want to call him strange, but definitely different things. Like he hasn't let go of the roach. I think that's one of the things I want to talk about, especially in his ZVP.
Yeah,
he'll throw a lot of roaches at you, whereas a lot of guys are going for swarm host, mutalisks, that kind of stuff these days.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. The roach has interestingly become a defining factor in this Zerg vs. Terran match. We already see this early expand coming out of Masa. Most traditionally, maybe that's the wrong word, like the traditional HOTS play is Biomine. And now we're starting to see a little bit of skew away from it, but still, most players have that as their baseline play. Biomine, 3 command center, fast upgrades, Roachling, Baneling, all-ins, busts early on.
Yeah.
Actually aren't even all-ins anymore. You can get 44 drones, do a huge attack that has a high win percentage, and easily come off it with a lead and re-drone behind that. So I definitely expect Snoot to do that style. Interestingly, no gas out of Snoot at all, but 4 queens.
I was actually noticing that with both players. I mean, a lot of times we're seeing a quicker gas out of the Zerg players so they can get to speed to better be able to deal with things like Reapers, but also gives them access to earlier defensive roaches because Hellbat play has become so prominent as well. But I was also noticing on the flip side with the Terran player, he opened fairly gasless as well, then went to a quick double gas. I mean, Sean, you're a StarCraft scientist. Is this a normal build, or is this kind of a little bit more old school?
Oh my god, first of all, look at Masa down on the south side. What a pick! Look at that, going all the way down to the bottom side. This requires both read and timing, knowing that that's there, but wow. I mean, to answer your earlier question, Jeff, this is a defensive form of the early expand play, because normally you can only get 2 Marines, and then you build your factory and get the add-on. But we see here, Masa's getting 4 Marines. And you don't really desperately need the Hellions out that much earlier, because against a good player like Snoot, you're not really going to deny his creep spread.
No, you're not. And you know what? I have to go back to what you were talking about with that Overlord Snipe. So intelligent. He's actually going up to intercept the other Overlord.
God.
If he gets this, Sean, if he gets this, a little bit of my belly clenches. Do you remember in Brood War when those damn Terran players would hunt down our Overlords? That was common practice back then.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of people remember the days when you and I both played Zerg. And wait, is he actually going to miss that? Is he going to get it? No way.
Wow.
No way. I mean,
This
just
Overlord.
as annoying as it is to lose Overlords, it is equally annoying to get right up in there.
Yes.
And for it to not work.
You know what I like about it too, Sean, is that actually the Overlord, just to be a dick, paused just outside range of the Marines. It didn't keep going. It's just like, nah, you can't reach me from there. You can't get me.
Creep spread still continuing by Snoot and Masa. You know, Masa does like these strategies that are aggressive.
Yeah.
Or I should say have aggressive licks to them, but aren't all the way aggressive. I mean, we see the Armory coming up. We see 4 Hellions coming up. It's going to be Hellbat drops, but again, a little bit more conservative, getting 4 Hellions instead of 2, getting 4 Marines instead of 2.
Yeah, what do you think about opening with Hellion, then going into Hellbat? I mean, it looks is that a misread at all that he's sending to Snoot, or is that just basic, I want to fight your creep on some level? Because certainly Hellbats do not fight creep back.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the first 2 is to convince your opponent, I'm not really going to Hellbats, all right. And, of course, to do a little bit of damage like we see here. But when 4 Hellbats show up, I mean, if I'm in Snoot's position, I'm going to be going, well, that's weird. They're a little late, but I guess he's just playing normally and badly. But really, it turns out it's a really nice timing coming up by Masa, who's already getting... Wow, he's gearing up to go mech on Neoplanet S. Really excited about that.
I really like that. I mean, well, I like it because it's fun to watch, but I'm not sure about it strategically. There's a lot of counterattack options on this map, and one of the ways you look at the effectiveness of mech is how easily you can lock down 3 bases, whereas this is a map where it's actually kind of hard. One thing I will note, though, is if you put tanks on the cliff line reaching towards that 12 o'clock third, that becomes a little bit more secure, and I guess we get some solvency there. But I do want to say, too, with the Hellbats, I feel like you almost have to go Hellbats if you open up without a Reaper, because you have to have some representation of creep spread fighting. Otherwise, it just gets out of control.
Yeah, I mean, the creep spread has definitely given Snoot a little bit of distraction. Snoot's going to try to get some roaches up. This is a little bit later of a Hellbat drop, but it is coming at a pretty vulnerable time. It looks like those roaches are not quite out yet. But, I mean, Snoot seems to repel it relatively easily. Is he going to lose
that? I think so far he's okay, right? Like, yeah, he only lost 2 drones. I thought that was really well handled. It always gets a little bit interesting. Oh, actually, there's Hellion to the natural now. And...
Yep, he's doing a little bit of roasting. I mean, he doesn't need to deny the creep spread much longer. He's picking some off. He's killed 8 total at the cost of a lot of Hellions. I mean, overall, this is a pretty straightforward loss for Masa. And Snoot's already planning late game. We see him getting melee attack instead of ranged. Ranged is a little bit more of a claim of, I want to be going roaches for a long time. Melee says, you know what, I want to eventually get ultras and, broodlords, that sort of thing.
I think you're absolutely right, and that's very much so in vogue right now. A lot of players are opting for that play, especially off of Mutas. It's a little bit interesting to open up Roach and then follow it up with that. The medevac is at 6 health, and there's no queen at the 3rd, so a lot of drones will go down for the crimes. Meanwhile, at the natural of the Terran player Masa, we do have roaches running in here, surprisingly, but with the tank on the high ground, there's a good chance this gets held off. It's just that the infamous question, at what cost, Sean? At what cost?
Oh my god, at what cost, Jeff? Indeed. I mean, this is what's so nice about this build from Masa. I mean, we're seeing him do these attempted drops that are doing moderate damage. He's killed off 15 workers total, but he's lost pretty significant amount of stuff. 1 medevac, 4 Hellions, 4 Hellbats right now. But it's the defense back home that you can tell is both Masa's focus and his strength. That attack came in, and if you're in Masa's shoes, you're like, oh yes, I knew I had to do this damage. I knew I had to do damage this game, and he just brought the damage to my front door. I'll easily pick off these roaches.
You know, I got to say, this is kind of lending itself to what I was talking about with Snoot. Like, these roaches, they seem a little bit random. Like you said, he is upgrading melee, so there's no continuation plan with these. We're not following up with Hydras. We're not doing some kind of weird Nidus Swarm attack. These roaches were defensive with a pinch of Snoot, which means, like, I'm going to be offensive with them. But with the little bit of damage that he did do, and by little bit I mean not a lot at all, I feel like it almost put him behind. I mean, of course, there's still potential for those roaches to be good defensively, but as the game goes on, it seems like they become more of a burden on the Zerg player.
Well, I mean, Snoot's going to need to use those for a lot of aggressive counterattacking. They will not function really at all in those direct engagements.
You're right.
But you can do drops in the main, and those are great. But I mean, Snoot already doing a little bit of indirect damage by dropping that creep up at the top side. Another drop in comes from the south side, but I mean, Snoot answered that so swiftly. But
yeah,
more drones coming up, Banelings coming up. We're not actually seeing a lot of expanding, and that's the traditional answer to mech.
Yeah, Snoot's actually taking his time. I mean, that's a very good point. Perhaps that's part of the reason why we're seeing mech on Neoplanet S, because the first 3 bases, okay, you've got 2 options for your third. So I guess his 4th could be fairly well answered, but the 5th base is always going to be a pretty big extension. You either take one of the corner bases or you go for the middle and go for the gold. And both those options are very vulnerable. And actually, as I say that, Sean, he opts to take his 4th top left as opposed to the traditional 6 o'clock base. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, in a general sense, yeah, totally. If he has a base at the left, he's going to want to take the top left. So that way his most recent expansions are close to each other and therefore easier to protect. But that's logic that you use against Biomine, against an aggressive player. Against a passive slow player, you want to have that south expansion up. Because look at this, Roach is moving along the south side. An expansion there would be protected. But this left expansion is not protected against these little sort of aggressive drops. The top left.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That base is vulnerable for a late game stage here. We do have another Hellbat drop going on here, but again, kind of ill effect. It's roasting and toasting a lot of the drones, but not getting the actual kill. And as I say that, it's nothing there. But meanwhile, we do have an engagement over at the tank line, and there's those roaches, Sean. As you pointed out, they cannot do a direct confrontation because, as you can see here, there's craters where roaches used to be, but those tanks are just fine. There's one in yellow health asking for a paint job and maybe a brush down.
Oh my god, Masa has this timed out perfectly. Look at this. We already see the +2s coming up. There's a couple Hellbat drops going on here and there. 24 workers killed. I mean, he's not trying to go for some devastating blow early. He's just trying to chip away at Snoot.
He's got a 20 supply advantage, almost 30.
Yeah. Oh my god, he's like blasting down this front side. We see that the Baneling upgrade's almost done. Roaches are going to try to swing in the front.
Nothing.
Hellbats rip them down. Counterattack also in the main.
I mean, it's just roaches, and he's trying to get Swarm Hosts out, but they're never going to see a light of day. Meanwhile, there is a half-hearted roach counterattack of the natural of Masa, but that gets easily thwarted. This third gets abandoned. Wow. Snoot, I feel like he's moments away from getting absolutely decimated by the Upset King Terran here, Masa.
And look, we have Masa doing a drop down at the natural expansion, given the run around on all those workers. Now Snoot picks off a couple of reinforcements, but oh my god, brilliant play by Masa. He picks off the base, and he just pulls back. He's going to hold this location, send a handful of units up to the top left to kill it off. I mean, this is amazing defense by Masa, amazing positioning. This is such a solid game. Look at the units lost tab. Ooh, gross.
I'm going to get better at this, I promise. It's L. There it is. Okay, you're right. Yeah, that's impressive.
Wow.
So for our viewers, yes, I am the observer. Send your hate to at EG in control. I gladly accept it for a while. I'll get better, I promise. There's the GG. Actually taps out. Snoot is done because, as you said, Sean, he very smartly backed away after having destroyed the base almost uncontested. But then he realized with all the counterattacks, you know what? I actually can guess. I guess I just go kill his other mining base. No problem. I guess I'll just go do that.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's kind of one of those funny things where if you watch enough games on varied maps, you think, okay, well, if you're going to open up with Hellbat drops, they're going to have to do damage. But really, it was more of the mid-game that Masa's thinking about. Mech is going to be so strong because there's not good ways to mass expand against a slow meching player. So Masa just says, well, I guess Hellbat drops is the easiest way to transition into that. Didn't do a lot of damage then, did a ton of damage with that amazing 2-0 push.
Yeah, pretty impressive win in this best-of-1 format. That is a score on the board for Team Root. The scrappy guys out of San Francisco getting it done in match number 1. A little bit of an upset, Masa taking out Snoot. Now we're going to go to match number 2 in just a few moments. It's going to be Kane going up against Hero, arguably the ace from Team Liquid, and certainly one of the aces from Team Root. It's going to be a great match, but ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, it'll be that match underway for you guys. See you soon.